Welcome, everyone, to TJ and the Grumpy Old Man. I'm your host, TJ, and with me here, as always, is the Grumpy Old Man. They say there's no shame to his game because he's always the same.
That's me.
And with us here as well, I'd say co-host of the show,
The sensational Son X.
That's right. How are we doing today?
You look
That
a little bit.
magnificent
You
son.
turn your head to the side a little bit like you did before. Oh, nope, the other way. You look the other way. You look like a little Mike McDaniels lookalike there, fella.
Baby.
Look at that on the little. That's why he's got his little hair parted too.
I'm leading the Miami Dolphins to victories. That's what I'm doing.
Oh,
Jesus.
no.
Good luck to you. That's all I'm going to say is good luck to you then, Mike McDaniels.
My first move is to tell Tua to retire, and we're drafting a new quarterback.
Good luck. Good luck. I tell you, it's been a while. It's been like almost a little over, maybe over 2 weeks or so since we last had a show, hasn't it?
Been a while. Last time we thought Kansas City, everyone thought they were going to be the number one seed. That ain't happening.
Nope.
Look at Grumpy. Look at Grumpy over here, already stirring the pot.
Hey, the Ravens, the real deal.
They are the real deal. I've been telling you that for a couple months now.
Yeah.
I'll say this here. Before we get this show started today, if you're new to the channel, welcome. This is a twice a week all sports podcast that takes place every single every single Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and every single Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where myself, the Grumpy Old Man, and the magnificent Son X just shoot the shit and talk sports. We talk.
Here we are, 9:33.
Okay. We talk NHL, we talk NFL, we talk MLB, we talk NBA, we talk anything and everything sports on this show. So if you're new to the channel and you like the content, make sure to do a few things. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube, right? So you don't miss out on any of our future videos, and like the video, because if you like the video, apparently that helps. Number one, helps the algorithm, and also lets us know that you're liking the content that we're putting out. For today's episode, I mean, we've got a lot to cover. I mean, that's about as simple as it is. That's what happens when you don't have a show in almost like 2-3 weeks. There's a lot of things that build up and a lot of big talk, which you've got to go ahead and discuss.
And if
we're going to talk some
MLB.
Yep.
Yeah, we're going to be talking the MLB. Just go ahead and recap what we're going to talk about, or real quick. We're going to be talking MLB. Going to be talking about the Dodgers. They went ahead and signed the deal with Yamamoto. They trade there. They've made a few trades as well. So we're going to talk about the Dodgers. We're going to be talking about the college football playoffs as well, right? That's coming up here this weekend. So make sure you've got your eyes out there for that. We're going to also be talking about the NFL, right? There's a lot that's happened in the NFL since we've last had a show. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the worst team in the history of the NBA. If you don't closely follow the NBA, kind of like myself, X, and Grump, only the big stories really happen to catch your eyes. And there's one that definitely caught my eye as of recent that we're going to go ahead and talk about with the Detroit Pistons. And we're going to be talking about, I guess, some of the struggles of Patrick Mahomes. Also, some of the craziness that's going on with Russell Wilson right now. Russell Wilson has probably played his last game with the Broncos. It's an odd one, but we've got quite a few things to talk about here for today's podcast. Most notably, right? I think Patrick Mahomes has been at the forefront of a lot of discussion as of recent. We talked about him on our last show, December the 10th, when he was having a little bit of a pity party for himself when they lost to the Bills. And he was getting a little upset. He was yelling at the officials. Him and Andy Reid were upset because Kadarius Toney lined up offsides, and they called that. You can't be calling that penalty at that spot. So we talked a little bit about his struggles. Since that game, the Chiefs have kind of continued to struggle a little bit.
They're not that good. I've been saying it all year. Patrick Mahomes, he's a good quarterback. Good quarterback, no doubt about it. He's not an all-time great, just not. I know they try to push it because, the people's champion retired last year, greatest of all time. Everyone knows it. So they want to anoint someone the next one, right? And it wants to be Patrick Mahomes. What Patrick Mahomes is finding out is that without Tyreek Hill and without Travis Kelce, who, he's 34 years old. He's nowhere. I think he's maybe 70% he's playing with last year. He, without super weapons like that, he's just a jag. He's just a guy. Just a guy. I mean, he still makes some crazy looking throws and stuff like that, but the pressure's getting to him. He's collapsing. Certain quarterbacks, and they had guys like Byron Tompkins as a starting quarterback, or Aaron Dobson, still able to do the job with shitty talent. That's what makes a quarterback the greatest of all time. That's what Patrick Mahomes isn't.
Grumpy, can I ask you a quick question? Do you have your microphone hooked up? Do you have your power on your microphone? You're not using it. It's going through your computer. But yeah, if you hook your microphone up, that would be definitely great. It's hooked up. Thank you for
hooking up before.
It's not. When you scratched it earlier, there's no noise that we're saying.
It sounded like you were talking through tube.
Yes, you were talking like X does because he doesn't have a microphone.
Okay, first off, X talks like the fucking shit. Okay.
Oh wow!
Don't be jealous.
Look at this. We're 6 minutes in. X has not had the show in 2-3 weeks.
He's not having any. He's not having any of your antics, TJ.
Good gracious.
Know your role.
Yeah, X over here causing issues right off the rip. But
Patrick Mahomes, absolute trash.
No. He's not absolute trash. Yes. He's not. He's a good quarterback.
Baker Mayfield has almost the same amount of yards as Patrick Mahomes has. He's the same amount of touchdowns and like half the interceptions that Mahomes has this year.
Mahomes is fine. And now here's the thing. Mahomes plays in an offense that is very quarterback friendly. And here's the thing. If you have guys like Tyreek Hill run 240s and they're just open all over the field, he just throws to a spot and they run and get it. What he's finding out,
Tua does this year, right?
But what he's finding out this year is when you don't have those weapons, those passes fall incomplete. They get picked off. Anytime that there's any pressure on him, he just throws the ball up for grabs. I mean, a lot of times, like, just throw it away. He throws it up for grabs. I mean, but he's done that for years. And just now what he's starting to see is without, the supreme talent at the skill positions, he's struggling a little bit. And it's not the minimum. Let's be honest, all the hyperbole aside, I mean, he's a good quarterback. Certainly one of the top five quarterbacks in the league, no doubt about it. But he's learning that, he's learning what Brady learned a long time ago, which is when you used to play the Patriots or you play Kansas City now, you're going to get their best game. So you better be ready for it, regardless of the skill position players you have. And that's what made Brady so good, his lack of skill position players. But he was so good out there, he made everyone better. Patrick Mahomes does not make other players better. He does not.
Okay. I love how Grumpy could not have a single conversation about Patrick Mahomes without comparing him to Tom Brady. That's not what we're talking about.
I heard there was
supposed to compare talent to the
best.
Listen,
hey. I know we haven't had a show in 2 weeks. Hold on. I know we haven't had a show in 2 weeks, but just a friendly reminder. We cannot talk over each other because if we do that, none of the audio feeds through.
Here, let me say my thing first. Aren't you supposed to compare talent to the best? Isn't that what you're supposed to do?
I don't get always the need to talk about Tom Brady and shoehorn him in every conversation.
He is NFL football.
Here's the reason. Nick got into a little.
Who is Nick, Grumpy?
Oh, I'm sorry. X.
Jesus.
Hold on. 2 fucking weeks off, and I need both of you to freaking tighten up. I need both of you to get on your A game. You're over here. You're bringing a holiday brain to the episode, Grumpy and X. I need you to get ready.
Now that's true. TJ is just writing regular season form and a half an hour late starting the show, so he hasn't lost anything off of his fastball. X got into a little kerfluffle with some of his buddies over the comparison between Brady and Mahomes. That's the only reason I brought it up.
Okay. This is getting back to just talk Mahomes. I don't know if you saw this. The Raiders, by the way, beat the Chiefs 20-14 was that on Christmas Day game, right?
Mm-hmm.
On Christmas Day. Aiden O'Connell.
I need to ask you something, TJ. I need to ask you something. Now, me and Grumpy got into an argument during the game. Grumpy was trying to blame that if they had lost this game, it was the defense's fault for playing prevent defense, not the fact that the defense put up 14 points in that game. it would have still been the defense's fault for the loss.
We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about. I've got all that set up there, X. But to answer your question, here's the thing. Your offense has to do more. Simple as that. You played turtle shell. You only scored, however many points it was, a minimal amount of points. You only threw for 62 passing yards, and you did not have a single passing yard recorded in the second, third, or fourth quarter in a 6-point game.
He did not complete a pass after the first quarter. But the whole thing was, Patrick Mahomes was really good on Christmas Day. I mean, he fumbled for a Raider touchdown, and he threw a pick six to the Raiders. So, I mean, hey, without him, maybe he forgot which team he's playing for.
He also forgot.
Fuck, Jesus Christ. How about we do this? I have all this shit lined up. He just wants to start splooging it all over the place. We are going to talk about the fumble. We're going to talk about the interception, Grumpy.
We forgot to talk about the other interception that happened after that the league had to save him on.
Oh.
I can tell you guys.
Jesus, TJ, why do you make those faces, dude? You make me just want to punch you through the camera.
Everyone wants to punch him. Everyone.
I'm not even kidding.
I'm ready for X to get a legitimate mic. That's all I'm ready for. Oh, okay. Well, let me ask you this here. Now, we're going to discuss this, right? The Chiefs had a 7-3 lead, and they weren't struggling that much at this time period. Their offense looked stagnant. To answer your question that you were, or the position you were putting up earlier, Grumpy, that, Mahomes doesn't have the same weapons, and that's why you're seeing a lot of the struggles for him. I think it's as simple as this. They kept the wrong guy. Hindsight is 20/20, but they prioritized keeping Travis Kelce over Tyreek Hill, and that was a blunder, a huge blunder.
Yeah, but they didn't want to pay him. And remember, he's had the problems with the law. That's why they did it.
Yeah,
that's why
he beat his son.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, Travis Kelce is much more. You can depend on him more than Tyreek Hill, at least at that time. He was more dependable.
Yeah, that's right. He had the video or the audio release there of him beating up his kid and breaking ribs and him having to be sent to the emergency room or something like that. But again, when you're good at football, it's crazy how quick stuff like that just goes under the radar or gets swept.
I think that happened with Ray Rice, honestly. If he wasn't at the end of his career when I guess it was his girlfriend that he beat up and dragged in the elevator, I guarantee you he'd still be playing today, just like Alvin Kamara's playing today.
I don't know. Kamara's was nowhere near as bad as the Ray Rice punch.
Really? Curb stomped the guy.
The guy in the ICU, TJ.
Ray Rice's wife didn't go to the ICU. She had a little headache.
I'm sorry. I'm thinking about Kareem Hunt. Sorry.
No,
there's so many football players who go ahead and get into
running backs.
There's so many football players who get in domestic violence issues and get in they accost individuals and beat them up. It's tough to keep track of, but like the Ray Rice one was really bad. I think it was because it was just one person. With Alvin Kamara, it was like a whole litany of people just pummeling him.
Okay. I'd say the damage was worse on the Alvin Kamara.
Grumpy, how's the game going, my friend?
I'm not watching the game. I'm waiting for you to say something intelligent. I know I'll be here all night waiting for that.
Too busy watching the fucking game. You had 2 weeks off. You could watch all the TV you wanted, Grumpy, and now you're still watching the game. How is the Jets game going, Grumples?
Grumpy's dropping bombs from deep on TJ. That's all I'm going to say.
All he's doing is staring at the TV screen per the usual. And you can just tell when he looks up, he's like,
all he needs is 3 seconds to make a comment to shut you up. That's it.
No, it's tough sometimes where you can't even get his attention. It's tough.
Right.
Anyway, so first one here, fumbles the ball for 6. This Raiders team, by the way, it's worth mentioning, has played much better under Antonio Pierce than it did under that miserable hack of a coach, McDaniels. That's simple. They've been a much better team. They've competed in every single game. They've had a much better record. I think he's going to get a legitimate chance of being a head coach, the permanent head coach for the Raiders.
They don't score.
Well, here's the thing. They win games. Look at this. Oh, that's a fumble by Mahomes.
Good job.
I'm going to ask you if you notice the same thing I notice. What is wrong with this play? X, you should know this.
You got Butterfingers trying to grab the ball right there.
No. Okay, here's the issue. When you're getting the handoff of the ball, what's the one thing you learned back when you were a kid, X?
Put it in the chest. That's what
the
you
ball, the ball that you're receiving on, the side you're receiving on, always goes top hand to close down. He had that the other way. It's tough, I guess, to see. Was that?
So you make it sound like I was a damn running back.
Okay. Long story short, this fumble, right? People are blaming Pacheco. Mahomes puts the wrong arm up to go ahead and grip the ball. It's because he wants to be able to throw it the right hand. He wants to get the better grip on it. You've got to put that left hand up first, crunch down on it. He fumbles the ball. They score 6 points. They miss the extra point.
Actually, what I heard was Mahomes' hands were wet due to wiping tears away from his eyes on the previous play where he didn't get a call. So it was a little slippery when he tried to grab the ball and it just popped out.
Very slippery.
Yeah. Tears. We'll do tears.
This is, I mean, yikes. Then you have one. I mean, the next play of scrimmage, you get a pick 6.
He's a freaking turnover machine.
I don't know if you saw, and it cuts it off. The cornerback who made the interception there went to give the ball to a kid in the stance and then said psych and pulled it away from him.
It was to a Chiefs kid. He was going to give it to a kid from the Chiefs on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
And he says, bah humbug, no gift for you. Chiefs have been strong.
The whole thing, Mahomes has not been good this year.
No.
And I feel a lot of it has to do with the weapons, but we knew that was going to happen, right? That's the thing. Is he able to elevate the rest of the team? So far, the answer is no. Without superior weapons on the outside, he's not able to elevate the team. And they've had an awful lot of calls go their way this year that cost other teams victories. Real questionable calls where, like against the Jets, against the Chargers. I mean, a lot of that stuff happens when you're on top. And, for them, even come down to them crying about the guy line up off sides. I can't even believe they did that. And they want to pay the price. They both fined by the league. So, they had to come off the hip for that. The one thing the NFL does not tolerate is you putting down the officials. They just won't deal with that.
Yeah. This is something I thought was kind of interesting. Russell Wilson, right? The passing yards aren't there. I'd say the weapons are equally as shitty for both teams, or maybe I think they're probably a little bit more in favor top to bottom, perhaps for Mahomes than they are for Russell Wilson. Wouldn't you?
Their tight end, Kansas City's tight end is better. I mean, Jerry Jeudy's been terrible this year. Cortland Sutton has actually been pretty good. So, and Jerry Jeudy, I think I mentioned Jerry Jeudy. I think Wilson also went out with injury. They've had some injuries too.
Isaiah Pacheco's been better than
Javonte Williams. So, I think they had a better running back. I think Rashad Rice is close there to Sutton. I think they're interchangeable. They're both guys who offer a lot of speed. They're good route runners, good route tree, and they have a better tight end probably for the Chiefs. Now, I think Kelsey's finished. And like when I say finished, I mean it's not like, oh, he's miserable, oh, he's cashed. I mean, he is nowhere near what he used to be, and it never will be that way again.
He's 34 years old. I mean, even though he's, he plays tight end position, he doesn't block, but it's not like, here's the thing, you don't get better athletically the older you get. You just don't. And you could see the speed is not there for him. His inability, maybe an extra split second, he's not able to get open. Mahomes will throw, it'll be too far at his feet, whatever. But he's noticeably been a different player this year. And that's what happens when you're in your mid-30s. Just happens. Can Kansas City, I mean, I know they have the Rice kid who's showing some sparks out there at the wide receiver position. Are they going to be able to get some top flight receivers and a tight end? That's going to be the tougher one. I think you can find wide receivers in the draft every year, but finding a tight end who's a security blanket for Patrick Mahomes, that's going to be a little bit more difficult going forward.
Yeah. I think they've got a lot of money tied up in the wrong spots at the moment. And that's what happens when your team is going to Super Bowls and you're winning Super Bowls. And you're like, oh, crap, we have to pay these players in order to keep them here. You're occasionally going to pay some of the wrong players. It happens all the time. It happens for every Super Bowl winning team. But, I thought this was funny. When you look at Russell Wilson's stats compared to Patrick Mahomes, right? Touchdowns are the same, less interceptions by Wilson. Mahomes, obviously, more passing yards. Completion percentage is almost identical. Quarterback passer rating, a little bit higher for Russell Wilson. Hard to believe that Russell Wilson, who, everybody, and we were doing the same thing last year, we're taking shit on how he was finished, is putting up comparable numbers to Patrick Mahomes. It just talks about how uncharacteristically poor of a season he's had.
I don't think he's been good this year. And he's getting benched for the last 2 weeks of the season. I think a lot of that.
Wilson?
Yes. Jarrett Stidham is going to be Denver's quarterback the last 2 weeks of the season. And the reason is so they get some financial flexibility to try to get out from underneath his contract in some way, shape, or form.
They suck. Now, I'm not sure how much of this you're actually aware of or how much you've actually done digging on this. It's pathetic. It's pathetic. I've never seen anything this bad regarding at least how they're handling the situation. But the reason he is being benched is solely because of his contract. That's it. So, okay, perfect. Here it is. Okay, gotcha. So here's the thing. Oh, wow. There's a huge thread or huge post on this. So he's not going to play the last 2 games of the season. He either has to waive his injury claim that kicks in 2025, or they just say, hey, at that point, we're gonna release you, or we're gonna get rid of you in some capacity, because they're not happy that in 2025, again, he's got $37 million of salary, and it vests in March of 2024 for injury only. That's why they're benching him. They apparently don't want him to get injured the last 2 games of the season.
Hey, it's a business, right? It's a business. I mean, I don't think he's got it anymore, but still, that's kind of here. NFL, anybody who wants to play in the NFL, you complain about how much money the players get. When the owners or the team has the hammer to use on you, they absolutely will. Every single time. I feel bad for Russell Wilson. I really do.
He's always a nice, kind of corny, but a nice guy.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a pretty shitty move by the Broncos to do that.
And now here, this is a little bit more context to it as well. The Broncos threatened to bench him weeks ago if he didn't remove his injury guarantees. Think about that. Something he negotiated, something he agreed to in his contract. They said, if you're not going to remove that, we're going to bench you. Why? Because you determined to go ahead and give me these provisions and I signed a contract, you're going to bench me? And seriously, what are you doing? You're just spiting the team, right? Like, do you have a better chance to win with Jarrett Stidham in the game compared to Russell Wilson? No.
They're not making the playoffs.
They still have a 6% chance to make the playoffs.
They're not making the playoffs. Losing that game on Sunday night to the Patriots means they have no shot of making the playoffs.
Yeah, if you can't beat the Patriots, I'm sorry. You're not.
In a home game.
I wonder how much this had to play with it.
I don't think it had anything to do with it.
You don't think it's had any play on Russell Wilson's playing and performance?
No.
Really?
No.
The threat that he's going to be.
I mean, he wasn't terrible against New England. He moved him down the field. I mean, it's just, once you're out on the field, TJ, you're not thinking about that other stuff.
Here's the thing. From that standpoint, right, he had a pretty decent game, but it's like you talk about the preparation. It's a lot different. You don't have as much preparation. You're not paying as much attention maybe on the lead up to the game because of all the other bullshit that's going on. That stuff definitely does have an effect. Any thoughts?
I mean, I don't think it has anything to do with that. I just think he's not that good of a quarterback anymore, and they want to save money on his contract.
I'll put it to you this way. If he could still perform at a high level, they wouldn't be doing this.
Yep.
He's thrown for over 3,000 yards passing.
I don't care.
Had injuries, and he's had 26 touchdowns and 8 picks.
He's not good enough. He's not good enough. He's not good enough. They want to get out. Sean Payton, I mean, who I think has done a great job this year from where they were at the start of the season till now. Obviously, they've had conversations with him, and he's like, he can't do it anymore. We're going to need to get another quarterback. He speaks very highly of Jarrett Stidham. which is, I mean, so what's the message that he's sending? We don't need Russell Wilson, right?
We need Stid.
Okay, just to give you an update, Russell Wilson has the same exact amount of touchdowns as Patrick Mahomes, Baker Mayfield, and Tua Tagovailoa.
Yeah, but Mahomes has played like dog shit this year. I don't even think he's this year. I don't think he's been a top 10 quarterback this year. He's a freaking turnover machine. What you're seeing from him is what you see from every other quarterback not named Tom Brady. When they get pressured, they just throw the ball up for grabs. Interceptions, fumbles. He doesn't like pressure in his face, right? Nobody likes that. And I think, Mahomes has just not been good this year. They dropped some passes, but he's not been good either. Their defense has been really, really good. Kansas City's defense, particularly when Chris Jones got back after a few weeks, has been top-notch. And they just can't do anything offensively. That's on the quarterback. At the end of the day, the quarterback takes the abuse. Or do you think Eric Bieniemy had more input than we initially thought as the offensive coordinator for Kansas City?
I think Mahomes blows.
I think
Mahomes this season has been awful. I think that that entire team is struggling hardcore. I just think it's that simple. They haven't created a lot of separation. He hasn't made good reads. He's got happy feet sometimes in the pocket. He's not doing a good job on his reads. He has time. Just haven't liked what I've seen from him this year. All I'm saying is this: for Russell Wilson to be a guy who's finished, his numbers don't indicate that.
He has the same numbers as that shit quarterback Baker Mayfield, TJ. So I guess he is finished, right?
Baker Mayfield. Let's go down the weapons Baker Mayfield's throwing to. Future Hall of Famer Mike Evans. Chris Godwin, who's a pretty good wideout as well. You've got here decent tight end play. I'd say the weapons are far better for Baker Mayfield, absolutely, than they are for Russell Wilson. Please, Grumpy, don't even shake your head.
I can't believe you're not giving Baker Mayfield any credit. Baker
Mayfield plays in the worst division in all of football.
He's been really good down the stretch.
It's
really
nice.
good.
It's nice when you play the Saints, the Buccaneers, and the Carolina Panthers as your really tough division rivals. Wow, we play them twice a year. Who could possibly beat the Carolina Panthers?
He's on the Buccaneers.
They're the worst team.
Here's the thing: they have a 4-game winning streak. He's been outstanding down the stretch. I don't care. You can say whatever you want. Baker Mayfield's been really good down the stretch. Absolutely has been.
But getting back to the Russell Wilson here, it says as well, they threatened to bench Russell Wilson weeks ago if he didn't remove his injury guarantees. Russell Wilson's benching by the Broncos today is solely financial related, and it's been in the work for weeks. The Broncos approached Wilson 2 days after the October 29th upset over the Kansas City Chiefs and told him that he would be made inactive for the rest of the season if he did not adjust his contract and defer the injury guarantee trigger date that he has for 2025. The threat, however, shocked him, and the two sides got into a major dispute of how to proceed. When the threat was made by the Broncos, the team and Wilson's camp, the NFLPA and another unknown party were involved in negotiations that ended up with no change in Wilson's contract. And it all came crashing down when Sean Payton and other top-level members of the Denver organization decided to go ahead with the plan they've had for weeks. It's odd. I don't know. It's just odd across the board to me.
You know what it says? Sean Payton doesn't think he can do the job, and they got to move on from him.
That's not what it says. It is solely financial. What do you think that means?
Again, if Russell Wilson was performing at a high level, this would not even be an issue. It would not be an issue.
Here's my thing, Nate. Let's say you ask somebody to do a job on your house. Like, let's say you ask somebody to pressure wash your house, and they do an extremely shitty job at doing that. Are you going to ask for your money back?
No, it's apples to oranges. The apples to apples comparison is this. You hire a contractor who works for you. You're a builder. You're an architect. You hire a contractor who does great work, but that contractor wants to start getting paid more because he does really good work. You say, well, screw it. I'd rather get more of a profit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fire that contractor and contract out my work to somebody else who could do it at a cheaper, I could pay cheaper amount to. That's what that comparison is.
Do you consider not making the playoffs doing really good work?
I think he's done a really damn good job.
No.
No. And you know who else does? It doesn't matter what you think. You want to know who thinks that he's not doing a good job? Sean Payton.
So they said they wanted some money back. He said no for the job that he did shitty.
No,
So
It's not they want money. They don't want to protect them. They don't want to protect them. Like saying, okay, well, you know, he signed this in his original contract and the original work saying, yes. Well, go ahead, X.
No, I was just saying he hasn't lived up to his contract that he got. That's what I'm saying.
There are guys who a lot of times well outperform their contract.
So if they can get money back, why would they not do it when he hasn't performed?
Here's the thing. It's not about they don't want to have the guarantee. They don't want to, if he gets injured, for him to have a guaranteed money down in the future.
Yeah. Bottom line, they don't feel that he's going to live out to produce to the end of that contract. They found a loophole, and that's what they're doing. They're going to get rid of him now. That's what it's all about. They want to save money. They're going to cut the player like they always do. That's what the NFL is. If they don't think you're going to be worth the money, you're gone. And that's what they're doing. He's going to sit out because if he played and got hurt, they have to guarantee that money. There's no way they're guaranteeing that money. That's why the owners were so pissed at Cleveland's owner when he had Deshaun Watson's fully guaranteed contract. All the owners were pissed at them because the one thing they could always hold over the players is that the contracts are not guaranteed.
Yeah, how's that contract working out for the Browns? You have Deshaun Watson sitting out every week with some ass ache because he can't play.
Well, he had surgery on his shoulder.
Okay, I'm talking about before that.
He didn't look good before he went out.
Nope. I'll tell you one thing. It's worked out fine for the Browns. Shockingly enough, they were able to get Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco looks like he's back in the prime of his career with how he's been playing so far this year.
He looks better than Mahomes.
Wait. I mean, okay, you talk about the Browns. Look at the freaking Cleveland Browns stadium.
Yeah, well, let me tell you something. Cleveland's fans are great, historically great fans.
You got to be loyal to support the Browns. Think about how many years they were absolute dog shit.
The team is going to be 10-5, 10-6 after tonight.
Well, it depends if they win. Right now, they're 10-5, so they could be 11-5.
Oh, I'm sorry, they'll be 11-5. They're going to win tonight. Just look at this. And Njoku's having a hell of a season so far this year too.
Well, Amari Cooper is out tonight, and Flacco loves throwing it to Njoku. He's his number 2 target, and so is Elijah Moore. They're catching a lot of passes today. I mean, they throw the ball a lot. They absolutely throw the ball a lot in Cleveland.
Think about this. Joe Flacco already has 11 touchdown passes this year. That's more touchdown passes than the Jets have had all season long.
I'm pretty sure that's more than Kenny Pickett's had his entire career too, right?
It's not, but that's a cute one. It's not, though. But Joe Flacco's thrown for more touchdowns than the entire team of the New York Jets this season.
Woo.
I mean, like, now another thing, about
they've been a little underwhelming offensively, the Jets.
Yeah, that's to say the least. Once Aaron Rodgers went ahead and tore his Achilles, absolutely that was the case. He's back and healthy. He's able to play if he wants to right now, but they're not going to do that. But I think, with Joe Flacco, he's played really well this year. Are they a real contender or are they a paper tiger?
The Browns?
That's correct, yes.
I think they could absolutely win a playoff round.
Who are they playing first round right now?
No, we don't know yet. Nobody knows.
Well, I'm saying currently with the standings.
They probably play the winner of the AFC South because they'll be the number 1 wild card team.
But Browns are looking good. They're looking like a team to beat. They're looking like a tough team. You don't want to get a matchup against the Browns, and especially the way Joe Flacco is playing. And think about this. They've had quite a few injuries. Nick Chubb. Think about this.
Yeah.
If you would have told me you lost your starting quarterback in Nick Chubb on season-ending injuries, but you would be a team that is a scary team that's going to have double-digit wins, I'm not sure many people would believe you. And they've done exactly that. So
they've done a good job
having that dog in you. Something Mahomes doesn't.
they've done a nice job regrouping, and Kevin Stefanski's done a nice job as head coach this year. He has. You lose your quarterback and your running back; those are big losses.
Oh yeah,
big losses.
It'd be like the Jets losing Aaron Rodgers and Breece Hall. Could you imagine how bad things would be?
Well, the Browns have better weapons than the Jets do.
Really?
I think so.
What do you think about Garrett Wilson?
Name another weapon.
I like Garrett Wilson a good bit.
Name another weapon.
I think Conklin's not bad at tight end. He's not as good. He's not as good as Njoku. He's not as good as Njoku.
You're going to call Hardman next?
I'm just telling you this. I think
he's back to the Chiefs now, isn't he?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I think the Jets have more weapons than you give them credit for, Grump.
They got Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall. That's it. Those are their weapons. They don't have another weapon. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll put it to you this way, right? If any team, if you remove, like, let's say from the Bengals, you remove Joe Mixon and Joe Burrow, well, the record's not going to be that great. That simple. So, I think the fact that they've done such a great job really speaks to the effort level of that team.
Here's my thing, though. Do you think that the Browns would be performing as well as they are if they didn't have Joe Flacco, though, who's a proven quarterback? Let's be honest. He's a proven quarterback.
Joe Flacco was free agent at that point when they picked him up.
Yeah,
anybody could have signed him. Jets could have signed him. Anybody could have signed Joe Flacco.
I'm just saying, Joe Flacco could do it, whereas the Jake Browning kid for the Bengals, he sucks. Joe Flacco's proven.
Okay, no, he didn't suck the first couple of games out, but then teams get some film on him and they know what he does. And then his whatever warts he has are exposed, and that's what you've seen for the Bengals last week. The first week he was really, really good. They had like the halftime, the second half of a game, and then a full game, and he looked pretty good. And then it's like, okay, well, he doesn't throw here well, or he doesn't do this well, and you saw them struggle in the next week. And it's not. I mean, Browning is not Joe Burrow. I mean, there are things he does well and things he doesn't do well. And let's just say that, now he's been exposed.
All I'm going to say is this. Joe Flacco was available for anyone. I'm shocked he's playing as well as he is. Hats off to Joe Burrow. A great job by the Browns after losing, again, the leading rusher in the NFL last year, Nick Chubb, and losing Deshaun Watson, their starting quarterback, and producing the way they have this season.
Absolutely.
So big congratulations to the Browns. I cannot think of a more deserving organization after years and years and years of ineptitude to have maybe hopefully a little bit of luck go their way. I'd like to see them. I'd like to see maybe them win a Super Bowl. That would be nice for the Browns fans.
Do you have Detroit as a topic of discussion for today or no?
I didn't. Did you? What did you want to talk about Detroit for?
Say this is the first time in 30 years that Detroit has clinched the number one seed in their division.
A division title. The first time in 30 years. The first time since 1993 that they have one division.
Yep.
Think about that.
Well, speaking of Detroit, you talk about some of the, the highs of glory, the victory, and you live high on the hog when you're victorious. Well, there's some really melancholy things going on in Detroit as well. When you talk about the Detroit Pistons,
27 game losing streak.
The worst. I would argue, right? That's the worst. That's the longest losing streak in the history of the NBA.
Yep.
That's hard to do. That's hard to do. That's really, really hard to do for a pro team because, sometimes, they, especially now in today's modern NBA, players get rest games, we're going to sit 3 of our starters today. We'll play some backups. What do they call maintenance days? I mean, you would think that Detroit would get a whole bunch of maintenance days thrown in there, right? And to think they were 2-1 at one.
Yep. They now just officially have lost to the Celtics here in overtime. Ooh. So they're on a 28-game losing streak. Holy shit. I mean, you're right, hard to fathom. You're right. There were 2-1 at one point, and they have lost 28 straight games.
If you got season tickets to the Pistons, would you be going to the box offices demanding your money back?
No, that's not the way it works.
God,
I'll tell you what, though, you should know every usher in the building, though, because no one else is going to be there.
That's true.
I'm just trying to wrap. I'm just trying to wrap my head around 28 straight games. Hard to fathom. 28 straight games.
It's hard to do. It's hard to do.
Good gracious, man. Good gracious. So they're off to a hideous start.
I was also going to say another interesting fact that me and Grumpy saw while we were watching that Oakland Raiders game. Aiden O'Connell had the longest streak for incomplete passes since Jamarcus Russell, by the way.
Yikes.
Was that just a franchise?
Sorry.
Oh, no. Was that just a franchise record, or was that an NFL record?
Franchise record.
Yeah.
I was about to say, wouldn't it have been just coincidental if it was an NFL record and it was both guys, the Oakland gold or the Oakland silver and black? The one thing that blows my mind as well about the Pistons loss today, they lost in overtime. They were up 19 points at halftime. 9 points, and they squandered a 19-point lead in the third quarter and went up losing in overtime.
There's Cade Cunningham taking a shot. She's the #1 draft pick a couple years ago.
Hard to believe.
Awful.
Hard to believe.
Absolutely awful. Yes. Yeah, I just got a notification on the 28-game losing streak. Yikes. So that happened. Another piece of housekeeping. Do you remember Matt Ariza, the kicker there for the punter for the Bills? He just recently had his rape case was dismissed. They dismissed her lawsuit against him. So I'll be interested to see if he'll get another chance or a chance at the NFL again.
He should sue the NFL and the Buffalo Bills. Absolutely should. Wrongful termination. Yeah. Absolutely. It's innocent until proven guilty in this country, unless you're so gutless that you can't stand behind your player until all the facts come out. Here's the thing. If he was Josh Allen, Buffalo never would have done that.
Nope.
Never. He's just a punter kid. That's the problem. He's just a punter.
He's a rookie punter.
Yeah.
Another piece of interesting news, in Wanda Franco's story, they raided both of his houses that he had, and he was not there at either of the locations. So we don't know what Wanda Franco's up to, but he's not at home.
Usually if you're well, I don't care that he's not home. Usually if you're getting your house raided, that's not good.
They want, and this is in Dominican Republic, which I believe is where he's from. The police want to talk to him now. I don't like the way this is playing out.
I don't know if he'll ever play again.
I don't think he will ever play again.
No,
but I don't like the way this is playing out, because in the Dominican Republic or wherever he's from, that's like what people do. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but that's the culture there. So now you got the Americans sticking their mouth in there what he should and shouldn't do with the young lady. I don't know how old she was. Like I said, it's the culture down there. But the fact that, now all of a sudden they're looking into this.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of men down there who are doing the same thing or worse. Maybe you should look after them too.
It's just you're held at a higher standard, just that simple. But anyway, I don't want to get stuck too much on that area. But I did think it was, nuts that his houses are getting raided. That means that they're definitely doing a little bit deeper looking into. Speaking about baseball, the Dodgers signed Yamamoto. Not the Mets, not the Yankees, but the Los Angeles Dodgers got their greasy paws all over Yamamoto. They signed this offseason, right? Shohei Ohtani. They signed Yamamoto. Huge deals for both of those two players. But hey, we're just going to defer all the cap hits till the end of the contract.
None of Yamamoto's contract is deferred. None of it.
So his is not deferred.
Correct.
Okay. So really it was Ohtani's who allowed pretty much Yamamoto to come there with the deferring of his contract.
Right. Yes. And here's the thing. But he wanted to play with Ohtani. Because I heard the Yankees offered 10 years, $300 million. The Mets, who knows what they offered. Mets were never serious. They were never going to get him. But the Yankees thought they would. But what does it tell you about the two New York teams? They got a lot of work to do on their starting pitching staffs before the season starts.
That's why I told you the Yankees should have gone after Ohtani.
They would never. Ohtani didn't want to go there. He wanted to play for the Dodgers.
I think you're going to see some financial fair play shit going on with the Dodgers. I absolutely do. I think they're paying his ass off the books, other than his regular contract.
Why? He's you know how much money he makes with endorsements? He doesn't need it.
I'm telling you, I think he's getting paid off the books.
He's going to get all his money on the back end.
It's not like it's college athletics X. This is
only 20 years to get that money.
So what? He's freaking loaded already.
10 years, he's going to be living on $2 million a year.
You know where he's not going to be? You want to know where he's not going to be in 10 years? He's not going to be living in the state of California. So wherever he lives, the taxes are going to be a lot lower. I guarantee you, when his contract's up, he ain't hanging out in Los Angeles. He's going to go to some other state.
Call me crazy. I think he might be going back to Japan. He doesn't even speak English, and he's been here for 4 or 5 years.
He does speak English.
Not well.
Well, he just doesn't. It's the same thing. Ichiro never spoke English either, right? Or Matsui. They all speak English, but they would rather do the interpreter thing, which that's fine.
Yeah. They don't want to come out saying something wrong, but they probably do.
Yes.
I doubt that he will be living in the United States when he retired. He is going to be he's larger than life in Japan. I'd argue,
he's
right?
The biggest celebrity in Japan for sure.
I'd say he's the best Japanese player ever born.
Yeah, man. Oh, that's China. My bad.
Boy, X. A
different sport too. Don't let that get in the way.
No, he said best athlete isn't like best athletes.
Here's the thing. He's the best Japanese baseball player to ever live.
No, yeah, baseball player. Yeah, absolutely.
What do you think about that, Grump?
Him or
Ichiro? I think it's a little bit too early to say he's the best baseball player ever.
No, better than best Japanese baseball
player.
If you were not watching TV,
it doesn't matter. I'm not getting sucked into these conversations because you don't know. Don't know.
What's going on with the TV?
Hideki Matsui was really, really good.
Are you trying to compare Ohtani to Hideki Matsui?
What I'm saying is Matsui came over when he was 28, 29 years old. That's not when Ohtani came over, and it's not when Yamamoto's coming over.
Right? Was it 25?
25, yeah.
Grumpy, Ohtani has won how many MVPs?
One?
I thought it was two. Is it one?
How many MVPs does Hideki Matsui have?
None.
Okay. Well,
I think MVP doesn't mean you're a better player maybe in 1 year.
Sucks.
The thing that makes here's the thing. The thing that makes Ohtani special. The thing that makes Ohtani special is that he pitches and he hits. That's the difference.
That matters. That matters, Grump.
Okay.
But we're only going to look at their hitting stats because Hideki Matsui. Okay.
But how many guys? Sadahara who hit almost 800 home runs in the Chinese league. I'm like, in the Japanese league. I mean, maybe he was the greatest of all time. We don't know because we don't see Japanese players. Ichiro, honestly, Ichiro is a better player than Shohei Ohtani.
You have lost your fucking mind. You have lost your mind, Grumpy.
Ichiro was really good. Ichiro was not a dual threat like Ohtani, though.
Ichiro, okay, he didn't pitch, but you know what? He was a better hitter, a way better outfielder.
Not a better power hitter. No, not a better
power.
It's
not about home runs. It's not about home run. Everything is not the home run.
They matter.
To let you know.
They do matter. Home runs do matter.
If I needed somebody to get a base hit, I'm not sending Ohtani up. I'm bringing Ichiro.
That's right. And if I needed somebody to pitch, I'm not sending Ichiro up. I'm sending up Ohtani.
Ichiro's not going to be throwing against high school girls like he is in the Japanese like charity games like he is doing now.
Ichiro is way better than Ohtani. It's not even close. The more that I think about it now, it's not even close.
Oh.
He had 3,000. I think he had 3,000 hits in America and in Japan. How many hits you think Ohtani's going to have? 2,000 maybe.
3,001.
You know what? Here's the thing. Maybe Ohtani can carry Ichiro's bat bag wherever he goes because he certainly ain't good enough to be better than him. Not happening. I don't care. He strikes out a shitload. Let me tell you something. Ichiro strikes out a shitload. Suzuki didn't strike out a whole
You
lot.
mean Ohtani? Ohtani strikes out a shit ton. You said
No, that's
Ichiro.
right. Ichiro used to strike out a shit ton.
He's too busy watching both. He's multitasking.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up some of the.
I'll pull up his stats, Grumpy. I'll put up his stats.
I'm gonna pull them up now. The two guys.
You know what I noticed? I didn't tell you this yesterday. Maybe I told you this earlier. Grumpy, we did an afternoon podcast, and Grumpy was the most lively, animated, and awake I've ever seen him on a podcast in, I'd say, years.
Yeah, because we're not starting podcasts at 4:00 in the morning.
We need to get to some comments.
Okay, we're gonna get some comments, X. We're gonna get some comments. Trust me.
But
I was like, holy shit. I was like, holy shit. Grumpy was he was animated. People were noticing in the comment section too, like, wow, Grumpy's bringing his A game. Today, Grumpy, you're bringing like your C game.
PJ, if you actually started the podcast on time, as opposed to like 3 or 4 in the morning, when you say you're going to be there at 8, I mean, maybe that's what would happen.
Grump, let me ask you this: should we start our podcast on Saturday at like 3 in the afternoon? I'll do that on Saturdays for you.
Well, you're not capable of doing that.
If it's going to bring an A game, Grumpy, I'm down for that. But yeah, here's we'll put up the stats for you, Grumpy, to show you Ichiro's nowhere close to as good as Ohtani. Here he is. Ichiro Suzuki wound up playing 19 years in the league. 19 years. He was a spectacular player, no doubt about that.
Yeah, pretty good.
And career batting average 311, pretty good for a guy who played till he's 45 years old.
It's fantastic.
I mean, he didn't hit over 300 until he was 38. And once he was 38, his numbers went down. So imagine what his batting average would have been. Probably about 330.
Never hit more than 15 home runs in a season.
Home runs are not the be all and end all, Sunshine. I already told you that.
He's only hit double-digit home runs. Think about this. As a guy who played every single night, he only hit double-digit home runs 3 times in his 19-year career.
But he's not a guy who's supposed to be hitting home runs. He batted in the top of the order. He batted third.
Okay, Ohtani's a power bat. What's your point?
Suzuki's better. Ichiro's better.
Why? Because he hits for average better?
How many hits? What are the hits? How many hits?
How many silver sluggers did Ichiro have with his great batting ability?
Probably every year. 19
years. Hold on a second. 3 silver sluggers.
Well, what was Barry Bonds' batting average? Because if it's under 300, well, he's just a shitty player. Ichiro's way better than him.
Barry Bonds is one of the greatest batter. Oh, look at this! Wow,
9 hits, 3,089.
Yeah, I'm not saying that he wasn't a good contact hitter. He was a really good contact hitter. He absolutely was. But if you're going to tell me that he's better than a dual threat who can pitch as well and hit home runs, sorry. No.
Again, if you ask me who I want in a big situation,
if you're starting a franchise, who do you want on your team? Shohei Ohtani or Ichiro Suzuki?
Ichiro, because you want to know what? He never got hurt. He never got hurt.
No, sorry.
He never got hurt.
Right.
Sorry.
He's so much better.
I'd rather have the guy who can pitch and hit runs on the.
Masahiro Tanaka was a better pitcher than him too.
Ah, really? That's
absolutely
pretty good. I'll tell you this. Look at this. Ohtani already has more home runs in his career in the 19-year career of our boy there, Ichiro Suzuki. And one of these years was cut short due to COVID. Wow. He there. Wow. He led the MLB in home runs last year. Ohtani did. Did Ichiro ever do that, Grumpy?
No, but he led him in batting average.
Okay, well, last year he led in slugging percentage, OPS, and on-base percentage. So that was pretty decent.
Wow, it looks like Ohtani's batting average just keeps getting better. Look, he had the best season batting average last year with the 304. Maybe he'll bat 300 for the rest of his career.
You know what? Maybe eventually you can mention him in the same breath as Sadahara. Oh, you certainly can't put him in the same breath as Ichiro Suzuki. Thank you. And here's the thing: Suzuki played defense. He was freaking gold.
Right. Ohtani plays the best pitches. That's right.
He was a Gold Glove outfielder.
Yeah,
yes, he was.
Ohtani's a Cy Young winner.
10-time Golden Glove. That's how good he was. Nobody ran on Suzuki. Nobody.
Ichiro, he had great range, a hell of a fundamentally sound defender.
And a cannon. Uh-oh. What's this?
I want to show you this. We got a fan fight. Got a little fan fight. And this was sent by Alexander. So thanks so much, Alexander. Yes. This is when the Cowboys were playing. Oh, I'm not sure who this is, but watch.
Guy's losing his pants.
Oh my God! Here goes the sports memorabilia booth.
Was getting fucked up.
These guys are throwing haymakers. Oh, look at this.
Oh my God!
I'd be like,
Oh, buddy, he just smooshed him.
He's got him. He's got.
What the hell
is he
was
gonna try to
that?
shoot?
Oh!
He hit him in the back of the head. I mean, that little guy was giving away quite a bit of size.
Yeah, I mean, he would have
just throwing haymakers. He's missing every one.
I'll say one thing. That guy was lucky that Table was there because he would have been flat on his back, and that other guy probably would have won the fight.
Here's the thing. This guy, I'll give you this. Little guy over here, number 15, small fry. Oh my God. Oh,
but he keeps missing. He keeps hitting him. Like he's missing him.
Small fry over here had him on the ground to start. And I tell you this much, he went ahead and went up about like 3 weight classes, and he's given up a lot of reach, and he's still over there putting it up. I cannot believe, thank goodness, that not all the sports memorabilia went falling down, like Michael Jordan signed jerseys and shit like that.
How do you feel that a Tom Brady signed jersey was in peril right there?
I would have taken it, cuddled it underneath my shirt, my jacket, and I would have walked away to keep it protected forever.
I mean, like, honestly, the way that thing is set up, thank God that thing was so long and so stable, because that I thought easily could have fallen over a few times.
I would have laughed. I would thought
that guy right there, the one who's selling the sports memorabilia, he ain't working for me again if he ain't protecting that shit. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm like, dude, you literally just stood off to the side, didn't even tell, hey, let's move it over somewhere else. Nothing. You just, break all the shit. It's fine.
So I like this one. I like this pummeling the hell out of each other. Nothing like spreading Christmas cheer by pummeling each other.
The bigger guy is throwing punches. I mean, like from down the block. That's the only reason the guy's able to dodge him, and he'd swing around. He just moves in a little bit. Everything's wild, high and wide. Got to get in there close, boom, boom, boom. That's how you got none of these big wow. That's not the way you fight. Come on.
Heavier guy, and he needs to be leaning some weight on this little guy. Wear him out a little bit and just freaking at the end. I was about to say, he should have done that from the beginning.
You know what would have pissed him off when he had him down? He had his shirt. Just smack him on the back a few times. Woo! Oh. Yeah, mule, yeah.
All right, let's get into some comments.
All right.
All righty. Freeze warning.
Who's that a picture of in Freeze Warning? Freeze Warning's got some up here.
That's Hugh Freeze, Grumpy, the coach for the Auburn Tigers.
How cute. Well, we back. How about proper English? We're back. Hope everyone had a great Christmas. Same to you, Alex.
They said freeze warning.
Freeze warning, bro.
But we know who it is. Drew Reviews Music says, you know what TJ and I are fantastic out? Pissing off the Lamanites unintentionally. All me and TJ tweeted out was the fact that if OT losses were removed, we'd be 16-18 and the 10th seed in the Eastern Conference.
Phil came out with a tweet today, Grumpy. Phil tweeted, he said, can you believe it that there are fans out there that will complain that overtime losses count as losses, essentially? And I'm like, yes, overtime losses are losses.
It's actually in their title. Overtime loss is in the title. It is. Okay. Freeze warning. Alex, once again, says about time for the bowl games that matter.
Yep, that's true.
USC came by and they wound up in stomping. Who did they stomp? Louisville the other day.
I was also going to mention something, TJ. Speaking of fights, I don't know if you saw I think it was Eastern Michigan against Southern Alabama. They had the fight after the game. See if you can pull that up.
I'll pull that up. Give me 1 second here.
We'll get some more comments here.
Oklahoma's playing Arizona tonight. I was not aware of that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what Grumpy's watching. So that's
Dylan Gabriel is not playing for Oklahoma either.
Well, don't worry, Grumpy. How is Oklahoma looking, Grumpy? Can you give us a scouting update?
Right now they're losing 13-7 in the second quarter.
How do you know that, Grumpy? How do you know they're down 13-7?
I just pulled it up.
Okay. Who's playing quarterback?
I don't know. All I said was a score. Drew says the Lamanites were seething and, of course, tried to flip the narrative. They wound up getting someone that I won't name to pretty much borderline block me on Twitter. It must have been Phil. Isles Twitter are super soy boys. What's a soy boy?
Soy boy. It means essentially they don't have. It's like they don't have the testosterone. They're not the red-blooded Americans. Grumpy.
Low T energy.
Low testosterone.
Okay.
Gynecomastia, mother effer, Grumpy. That's what you can imagine for him.
Derek Monroe says, "Welcome back, fellas. Merry Christmas to you guys. Been missing the pod greatly." Derek, I just want you to know, Tom Brady is so much better than Patrick Mahomes. I don't even want to hear his name come out of your mouth for another 15 years if he can keep it up.
Gracious.
By then, I'm sure you're going to be on some new fly-by-night quarterback who's going to be a favorite. That's okay.
Oh, good gracious here.
Drew says, I will say, TJ, the way the Lamanites respond to yours and my points is some of the most beta male shit I've seen in my life. Now, betas are weak ones, right?
Yes,
betas.
Alphas are the powerful.
Yes.
All they want to do is dogpile on you to try and get a rise out of you.
I was about to tweet at Phil. Phil's just a troll. I was just about to ask him, like, isn't it time for you to put out your Simon Holmstrom appreciation post? I'm waiting for that today. Here's the thing. Philly's fake facts over there. He's very easy.
Phil's fiction.
Phil's fiction. Yes, for sure. Here is the fight that broke out in that Eastern Michigan game here. It's at the end of the game. Obviously, you could tell they're celebrating the win there from South Alabama. You're going to notice that there's a guy not in red and white that's going to come and say, congratulations on the very good game. Thank you for beating us by 49 points.
Oh, that's a blowout.
Oh! What the fuck is going on?
I'll say one thing. They beat the shit out of that kid who jumped their teammate.
Absolutely. That kid's able to walk out of the stadium when you do some shit like that. That's assault. He honestly should be arrested for that.
So you can't see it in this video, but they actually grab the kid and pull him into their team's huddle right there, and they all just beat the shit out of him.
Yeah.
He was all bloodied up in the face afterwards.
So who was the criminal in this?
The
guy who comes up behind this guy. I'll put it in slow motion.
What team did he play for? What team?
South
Eastern
Alabama.
Michigan. Eastern Michigan. Here's the thing. Eastern Michigan got into a big fight with the University of Pittsburgh back in 2019 in the Quicken Lanes Bowl. They're just typical. And he hit a referee one time. He punched a referee in the face, the quarterback did. Look at this shit. They're over here. The game is over.
Looks like they're just celebrating with their fans.
It's like a WWE.
You got to have some balls to run up behind somebody and punch somebody who's wearing a helmet.
Yeah, actually, I was going to say, the guy's wearing a helmet.
Let me fracture my hand real quick.
Boom! I think he hit him in the neck.
I guess that's where he was aiming. But
oh, my God. He went – the thing that –
yeah, but his teammate jumped on him double quick.
Okay, I want you to know something. If you're going to do something that reckless, I don't know if you could see it. The guy from Eastern Michigan is not wearing his helmet.
That's so stupid. I would have definitely had my helmet
built in dumb.
Was that Grumpy? You're winning it out.
He said he's a football player. He's got a built-in dumb.
Is this the one you're talking about, X?
Yes. Watch. Yeah. Watch. They pull him towards the team. Yeah. See, his buddies are trying to get him. Yeah. No, you ain't getting away from us that easy, buddy.
It seems like most of the Eastern Michigan guys were in the locker room already.
They grab him and pull him back. Look at this. They grabbed him and pulled him back.
Just when I was out, they pulled me back in.
Like, yeah, you ain't getting off that easy, buddy. Good for their teammates for the Alabama team.
I just hope they charge him. Oh,
whoa,
pancake baby!
Look at that. The other guys. Hey, come on, leave him alone.
Well, honestly, I feel bad for the Eastern Michigan team because at the end of the day, it's that one kid who did that stupid thing. It wasn't the whole team.
It's like one of these things, like where at the end the band, like they sing to the players sing back. I mean, that's what's good about college football.
Oh God!
Boom!
I just don't get it. I don't get it.
Oh, yeah, there's his face. Yep, there's his face.
We beat your ass during the game and after the game.
And his mouth was all swelled up.
Yep.
Oh my God. Oh no. Oh my God. That was during the bowl game they did that shit. Oh no. Oh man, this is great. East Michigan. Honestly, fuck. breaking cinder blocks down. Oh my God. There's nothing worse than when you do some crazy shit like that and just get absolutely destroyed. Because here's I remembered. I'm glad they had this up. This is back from 2019.
Oof. Well, that guy looked like he kind of fell.
He did. He didn't hit him. You'll see he's falling down to the ground. Whoop. He didn't hit him. He lays down there for a second, stands up.
Okay, there's a guy taunting him. Absolutely.
Oh, it's just a guy in the face.
Number 9.
Oh, my God. He punched the official. He hits the ref, Grumpy. Maybe you don't see this one. You cannot punch officials, my friend.
You know what? It's typical of that University.
Oh!
He hits his hat.
Look at it. Did the referee take a flop on this one?
Oh, absolutely. He dove.
Look at the ref here on this one.
Card him for simulation.
Oh, go!
Oh!
You like how when he's hit, his arm goes flying up?
Start the whole thing. You want to restart the whole thing? He went down. The Pittsburgh guy went up and taunted him.
Okay, at the
Couldn't
end
help
of the
himself.
day,
Couldn't control himself in a big situation. That's what started the whole thing.
At the end of the day, people can say what they want to. You can't act
That's why get rid of all celebrations. If you look at another player after, you're going to get flagged and ejected. That's how you got to stop it. That's how you stop it.
No personal responsibility lies on the player for not swinging his hands and assaulting people.
Nope.
And hitting referees. Oh, okay. Nope. Grumpy was a big fan of these.
Eddie the taunter, he started it. Ejection. Drew says the difference is I'm smart enough not to fall for that stuff, and instead I just laugh at them all. That's not TJ's MO. I'm going to tell you.
I didn't even respond, Grumpy. I didn't even respond. I will say this. Hold on, Grumpy. I'm speaking here, Grumpy. Thank you very much. I will say, Drew hit him with. I've never seen anything like this before. He said, "I've detected that there's a I don't know. I'll pull up the meme that Drew sent there to it. I thought it was very quick. Drew is just he was shithousing all over Phil's facts in the Lamanites today. I was like, damn. I never look at that stuff, but Drew is actually a troll himself.
Oh, so, I was not aware of that. Drew was a troll.
Go ahead. I'll pull it up for you. Get comment.
Says, Son X, what is more disappointing to you, the Islanders goalie play last night or TJ's knowledge of rock and roll and pop culture?
God, I don't know how anything else could be worse than the goalie play, but I'm sure TJ's knowledge of rock and roll and pop culture is right up there.
Wow.
7 goals. Holy.
Not good.
Bad.
Tony Cheese says, Uncle X. Eric Monroe says Justin Watson, the only receiver who's played with both Pat and Tom, was a much better receiver due to playing with Patrick rather than Tom. Stats back it up. He was a freaking benchy in Tampa Bay. He was a bench performer for them. He came up there in Tampa Bay as a rookie. You would think he'd be better playing there, playing after 4 or 5 years in the league, wouldn't you? He was a benchy. Wasn't good enough to play with Tom Brady's team. Brady one of them says, hey, sunshine, don't worry, little fella. You sit there on the bench. I got real guys. I got Gronk to throw to. You go play with Patrick Mahomes because you ain't going to win shit with him. All right. And I know that they won the Super Bowl with him, by the way. Alex says Mahomes and Casey are a couple of drop passes and a guy lined up offsides away from a few wins. Well, you know what? That's called executing plays. Got to catch the ball. Lining up offsides, inexcusable. Kelsey is becoming a shadow of himself and no weapons at all that can catch the ball at wide receiver. Projecto injury hurts too. Hey, that's the NFL. Brady was able to overcome it always, every year, able to overcome it. When Brady's teams won Super Bowls, it's because they didn't have a bunch of injuries. But he'd always make it to the AFC Championship game. What do you go to, 13 of those? Just going to say. I'll be interested to see how Patrick Mahomes plays in a road playoff game. Never done that before.
Yep.
Never.
Want to show you this. Speaking about how fantastic Joe Flacco has been this year. Holy shit. Look at this play. This play by Joe Flacco.
As the wide out to look for, and Flacco almost gets sacked. There he goes. Throws on the run. Caught. Inside the 30, inside the 20 goes Jerome Ford. Still on his feet. Ford looking for the end zone.
Is it me or have the Jets given up?
The Jets have given up. But look at this. He gets hit in the face. You like how there's no flag thrown?
As the wide out to look for.
Was he actually?
Was that?
Oh, yeah, I guess he did.
He absolutely gets hit. There's a face mask.
No call. Well, the ref's looking right at it, too. Looking right at it.
You want to know why? Because he's not the anointed one. That's why.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm like, Jesus. I'm like, he absolutely gets hands to the face there. And I'm like, no call, question mark?
That was Mahomes. The ref on the other side of the field would have been throwing a flag on it.
And even if – here's the thing. Maybe they just throw at somebody from the stands. Oh.
Good gracious here. I'm telling you, he's playing some great football.
He's been really good for them.
Absolutely.
Cat butt.
Yeah, there. Continue. You got any other comments there?
There weren't naked women running around at my graduation party or the farewell to Long Island party. One of Grumpy's strongest quotes from last episode. I don't remember that. I remember it. Drew says Zamir White is actually good. The Raiders don't even need to give Josh Jacobs the franchise tag. Jacobs is at the tail end anyways. Okay, he's 25 years old. He's not at the tail end. Now, I'm not saying that Zamir White isn't an okay running back. But the whole thing is, you know what? Dalvin Cook was the running back for the Vikings for all those years. And Alex Madison came in, and he looked fantastic filling in his damn backup whenever Cook missed some time. You don't need Cook. Well, what happened? We found out when Cook goes, Madison's a starter. It's a different game.
Matson. But this is what he said. I like this one here, like the meme. It says, breaking news. Safety car has been deployed due to your crying. At Grumpy, I shit you not. Islander fans are crying. Hey, buddy, it's point percentage that means more than wins or losses. I'm like, it's simply just how many games do we win? How many games do we lose? The NHL's not a win-loss league. I'm like,
don't you play
listening to these losers talking about all this nonsense is just absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts, Grump.
Carolina is now ahead of the Islanders in standings.
Wow! I'm telling you, everything.
Carolina will end up above the Islanders in the standings. Gungu says, does Sun X have a heart of gold? Is Grumpy getting old?
Grumpy is definitely getting old.
Sun X does have a heart of gold, and I am getting old.
Grumptile. All right, next one.
Tony Cheese says, who's got more CTE damage, Tua or Ray Rice's girlfriend? Well, Ray Rice's girlfriend only has taken 2 impacts, one from the punch and then one from her head hitting the ground. Now,
when he dragged her back in the elevator, didn't the elevator door keep on slamming on her head and he had to drag her out?
No, it did not. But probably Tua. I'd have to say probably Tua, but I like the joke. I like it.
Next, please. Apparently, Fat Boy Becton leads the entire NFL in penalties. Is that surprising? It is not. He is the worst offensive tackle ever.
No,
he's the Patrick Mahomes of offensive tackle.
Hall of Famer, baby. Hall of Fame. That's all I hear. Put him in the Hall of Fame. All righty. Frank Grumpy.
Hello, Big Three. Hello, all. Was watching last night's show. Overthrow the Jets. Overthrow the Jets. LOL. Overthrow? I don't know. I don't know what OVWRTHW even is.
Over the Jets. He watched the game over the Jets. I don't know. The Jets didn't play last night, though.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know.
How you doing, Frank? Next. Goon says in 2023, the year Goon waves goodbye to the NFL, the choreographed dancing, political statements, bad behavior, beating women, DWI, a buffoon commissioner, poor grammar, spelling in tweets, etc. Well, that's the direction it's been going for a while now.
Unfortunately, I don't think it will end. Worth putting this up. This is what Phil. The Islanders could go 40, 20, and 22 and clinch the second in the Metro with a record, but people would still be going on about how this is a below 500 team. And as you'll see very astutely, 40 and 42 is below 500. I don't. Maybe Phil can't, but they don't teach mathematics. But like he thinks that these overtime and shootout losses are not actual losses. Who the hell knows? Phil is just something else.
I just like the olden days. Just go with the tie. Drew says, by the way, I don't know if you heard, but the NFL absolutely killed the NBA in views on Christmas.
Yes.
I think the NFL and no one watches the NBA.
Biggest product in America. It is the most popular sport, hands down. The most valuable.
This is what happens when you let Adam Silver become your commissioner. I don't think it has anything to do with that. So many players only play half-ass during the season. The regular season almost means nothing in the NBA.
Yep.
Nothing. And NFL, you're right, X. That's the big dog.
It's the number one most popular sport. And think about it. It's not like you have, 50, 60 games a season. There's only 18 games.
Yeah, 17 games a year, but yes.
Or whatever, yeah. Are they bump it up to 18?
No, it's
18 weeks.
But it's only 17.
Gotcha, because teams have a bye. That's right.
Yeah. Nice comment there.
Drew says, I honestly think Travis Kelce is retiring after the season. He doesn't have any more. Okay. If he still has contract money, he is not retiring.
I think he's retiring at the end of this year.
I do not.
I agree.
Him and Taylor Swift are going to go off into the sunset and make music together.
Good gracious.
Yeah, I'm going to say no.
I'm not sure making the music together thing, but I think he will retire at the end of this year.
Do you know, ever since she said she changed the lyrics to her song that said, is a guy from Kansas City, they've gone on a losing streak.
Fuck.
Well, right. Frank says, hope you all had a great Christmas and a happy New Year to come. Same to you, Frank.
Absolutely. Same to everybody. Hope everybody had a Merry Christmas and they're having a happy New Year.
Drew said, it's like I always said. In today's NFL, weapons make the quarterback, not the quarterback makes the weapons. Yeah, if your quarterback isn't good enough, that's exactly the case. But when your quarterback is an all-time great, guess what? They make players around him better. Period. End of sentence, end of story.
All righty here. Next comment there from Google.
Just like Baker Mayfield does, man.
A maddening trait observation about the Islanders this year. They tend to play up to the elite competition, Bruins, Kings, Leafs, etc., and down to the stinkers, Sharks, Pens, Canadians, etc.
I disagree a little bit on that. I think in the game against, I think a lot of the games, even we've won against good teams, we've just been a really hot team. I'll be right if we lose on Saturday to Washington and then we lose against the Penguins, it's gonna be like, oh man, it'll be a totally different story.
What I'm gonna say is it's interesting when you listen to the other teams' telecast and all the things that we've been saying on the Islanders Never Say Die show. I did little clips, and wouldn't you know, everything that we said, Mike Rupp said. It was great. Like I said, Frank says, Grumpy, you predicted the Islanders win last night 7-1. You were close. Yeah, I just picked the wrong team.
That's true. Drew L.
I think the problem with Kansas City also is the fact that they're paying Mahomes so much money they can't surround him with a better team. I have a feeling the quarterback market might deflate in a few years. I don't know. It's the market's never going down. That's another thing that made Brady great. He always took less money so they could put more into the team. Always.
Preach, Grumpy. Preach.
Tell me about that, Grumpy. Tell me, because I know you've mentioned Brady a few times today, even when we're talking about Mahomes. Tell me more about Tom Brady when we're talking about Mahomes.
I don't want people to forget what a great quarterback is actually like. Not this, it's like movies nowadays. They suck compared to movies 15, 20, 30 years ago. So that's why you have to remind people how great things actually were. Instead, they live in these times where mediocrity is, saluted as being great. It's not.
Can you say back in my day, Tom Brady was the greatest? Back in my day?
Yeah. Even last year, he was the greatest.
All righty, Grumpy. What are you watching? What fucking show are you watching, Grumpy?
Kansas City's problem is no Tyreek. That's it.
Yeah, they do miss Tyreek Hill for sure.
Absolutely. Grumpy, Google says, Grumpy, which film made you too scared to go swimming in the ocean for a few years? Jaws or Orca? It was Jaws. Of course. Everyone knows it was Jaws.
Drew L says here, who also has been great outside of fantasy football, or who's also not been great outside of fantasy football, it's Jalen Hurts. He's been pretty bad the last few weeks, too. The Eagles are the 2022 Vikings and the 2020 Steelers. I don't think much of the Eagles.
Yep, me either.
Here's the thing. Jalen Hurts has been playing with a bad knee, and actually the game that they beat the Giants was the first day that I thought he had much better maneuverability than he had previously.
Okay.
Because he didn't look good for like 3 weeks prior, but he wasn't limping all the time like he was in previous weeks against the Giants.
Jalen Hurts is not a great QB.
I didn't say he was. I just brought up why he's not.
Really good fantasy quarterback, though.
Yes, he is. Drew says, yeah, I don't know why TJ isn't giving Baker any credit. The dude's career was on the line, and he showed up this season. I remember everyone thought Tampa was going to win 5 games at best before the season. True.
Baker Mayfield has played well this year. I think it helps him. Can
we get that recorded, please?
Baker Mayfield has played well this year. I think it benefits him playing against the Carolina Panthers twice, the Atlanta Falcons twice, and the New Orleans Saints twice. He has a very easy schedule playing some very bad teams. He also has some good weapons. All of this helps him play a good season. Just make sure
Baker Mayfield's been really good this year. Next.
How important is fiber in one's diet, says Goon.
Very, very important.
Salah is a joke and needs to be fired now, says Frank. Now, that's something I want to talk about, too. The Jets are going to be keeping Salah, right? They're not making any changes to their GM or head coach going into next season.
That's what Salah says. Who knows?
Well, I don't know. That's just the news that's being reported. So,
okay. Drew says Breece Hall is so good, but my gosh, the Jets have literally ran every single play through him. Drew says, I'll give the NBA wisdom for you. The Pistons have lost so many games, all because of a draft pick named Killian Hayes. He sucks, blows, swallows, and was supposed to be Detroit's franchise point guard.
So here it is, by the way. Robert, this was reported by Rappaport, Grumpy. They expect to remain next year and won't be fired as coach and GM. So it's not, this is what Salah is. But Rappaport.
Well, we'll actually wait. Who knows? Gungun says, Son X, what did you think of the beanie TJ sported yesterday? Did it add an extra layer of confidence?
She wore a beanie yesterday?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've never seen you wear a beanie before in my life.
It was not impressive.
Are you sure it wasn't like a blanket that you just wrapped up and put it on your head?
Yeah, I wore a turban on my head.
Because you got a big old head.
I thought you'd like it. Micah Parsons went ahead and posted this out. He said, "Free me, dog. Whatever I did to the officials, I'm sorry." And this was a game where right at the end, right, the Dolphins won the game. I'd say this looks a little like a hold. Perhaps that wasn't
a face mask. And a face mask.
Yep.
Hands to the face. That's true.
One guy's holding another guy's face mask in him.
That's true.
And there's Noodles rocking all the way back to throw that 5-yard pass. Drew says it's basically Cade Cunningham, Jalen Duran, and a bunch of Jags. Although the Pistons have hit rock bottom, they're only getting better after the season. So that's the optimism I have for Detroit.
Have you heard of, we've talked about it before, crazy some of these same game parlays are. This lucky better, he had a huge potential parlay. It was $5 he put down with the possibility of winning $500K. He put a bet on that Najee Harris, Gabriel Davis, Jahmyr Gibbs, DK Metcalf, Jerome Ford, Chris Rodriguez, Jonathan Taylor, Calvin Ridley, James Conner, Raheem Mostert, Javonte Williams, Isaiah Pacheco, DeAndre Swift, and Christian McCaffrey would all score touchdowns. So they had recorded when he was about to score.
Did you come up with this, TJ?
Could you imagine, by the way, betting $5 and winning $500,000?
That'd be nuts.
No.
Look at the odds. Plus, Grumpy, you love the plus minus. Plus,
I don't care.
It's
I
okay. Is that what's going on now?
I don't care about it. Freedom Fun Adventure says, X, how was your nap yesterday? When will the NFL force cheap-ass Jets and Giants ownerships to fix that field? How many players must be injured? Dolphins have their own turf farm. They don't use turfs. They use the rubber pellet fields.
Well, that's what he's saying is how long before MetLife needs to change their field because they use the turf.
They're not going to change it. Why would they change it?
Because so many players get injured there.
You know what? Sorry. They're not changing the field. They're not spending $3 million to put that field in to pull it up and put grass in.
You know what? I think if Saquon Barkley got an injury, Grumpy would be all wanting them to change that field.
Well, I just want Saquon to play good this week. That's all.
Grumpy's a captain. He's Captain Complaino, is what Grumpy
Goon
is.
says
He is. No, I'm not done. You are Captain fucking Complaino sometimes, Grumpy. Like you are right now as you're watching your little Oklahoma Sooners game.
I'm
You're
not
Captain Complaino at times, Grumpy. And I will mention this. I'm shocked you haven't found a way to talk about Brock Purdy and the poor performance Brock Purdy has and compare him to Tom Brady as well. I'm shocked.
There's no comparison between him and Tom Brady. None of these guys compare to Tom Brady. I just have to shut down the people who think the guys like that do.
Brock Purdy threw 4 picks against the Ravens. That was a huge matchup.
Ravens are good. Like I've been saying for a month and a half on this show, the Ravens are really good. Really good.
I still take the 49ers in a rematch.
Not me. Absolutely not.
Super Bowl rematch. 49ers will beat the Ravens. Book it.
We'll see.
Wrong.
Gungun says at least the Islanders aren't the Pistons.
That's very true.
That is true.
It'd be a lot worse.
Who says, TJ, what in the O.J. Simpson Bronco footage was that?
That was Wander Franco avoiding the police.
Oh,
Man on the run. Man on the run.
now who sings that? X, do you know who sings that song?
I'll tell you who sings it.
How about you, TJ? Any ideas?
Grumpy, let me ask you this. Don't you have an Oklahoma game to watch?
It was Wings.
Wait, okay.
With Paul McCartney. That's after he left the Beatles. He formed Wings. Band on the Run. Thank you. Freedom Fun Adventure says, TJ, are you trying to emulate that loud guy on ESPN that always wears a black wife beater? Guy has hair and less fudge. Oh, wow!
Yes, that's what I'm trying to emulate. You got it 100% right there. Freedom.
Grumpy popped his microphone into place by doing that.
I know.
It sounded like we were talking through a tube again.
Typical Grumpy.
I don't know why.
Fucking
Freedom
Grumpy.
Fun Adventure says, what boy band is that on the wall behind X? I couldn't watch the Islanders get blown up.
I was going to say that's me and my fiance's family.
What boy band is, you might want to wait till I finish the whole thing and then chirp in the answer. What boy band is that on the wall behind X? I couldn't watch the Islanders get blown up by the Pens last night. I was busy. It demonstrates why I do not trust this version of the Islanders. Do you find them fun to watch? Well, if you were a Pittsburgh fan, absolutely. But for an Islander fan, no, that was not fun to watch.
No, not fun at all.
Freeze warning, Alex says, stud him, war damn eagle.
Stud him. Oh, my days.
Gungu says, my pillow was calling me. I will now obey. Good night, sleep tight. Don't let Ray Lewis vanishing blood-stained shirt bite. Drew says, I'll never understand how people get into fights at sport games. Like, sure, arguing with someone is one thing, but to escalate a fight, like, come on, people. Okay. Alcohol is always involved. Every single time. You want to stop it? Stop selling alcohol at those events.
We know
the NFL makes way too much money. The NFL could care less if everyone coming home crashed and died in drunken car accidents, because there would be some new raft of people coming in to drink their beer in their stadiums.
I think they would care.
Oh, I was going to say, we know one thing from personal experience that they definitely don't cut people off at games. I will say that.
Absolutely not.
I think they care to the extent of if people are going to their games and buying their alcohol, they want that to continue. So they're going to want to continue to have those patrons show up and buy their alcohol.
Oh, you're already 36 beers deep. Oh, well, hold on. We'll just cut you off at the end of the third quarter. You just can't have any more, even though you're already obliterated. You just can't have any more.
I do like how they warn you, though. They warn you, hey, if you want to get some more beer, you got to come up and get it now. It's like, yeah, and they get like 6 or 7.
Call for alcohol.
Yeah, last call for alcohol.
They're singing your song.
Yeah. Alex says, have you seen where Bond from Bama said players can't watch tape on their tablets due to the risk of Michigan stealing info? Pretty bold to say that to the press. I think they just say that to the players just so they don't do anything stupid and leave their stuff laying around.
You know what I hope? I cannot wait for Michigan to fucking kill Alabama. Kill them.
I'll tell you what. I think that Alabama's playing much better right now. Michigan's defense is really, really good. Really good.
Let me ask you this. What are your takes? What do you think is going to happen there for the college football playoffs?
But we're going to be doing that. We're podcasting Sunday, which is the day before the college football playoffs.
Yeah.
So do we want to save that for Sunday?
Okay, we could save it for Sunday. Grumpy must have a hot date to catch up with. I didn't know if you wanted to start sharing any of your early thoughts. I mean, there's a lot to talk about, Grumpy, on that. But
next comment. Right. Here we go. So I bet that guy on Eastern Michigan University who tried to sneak that Eastern Michigan guy probably wound up like the guy who Alvin Kamara beat up for no reason.
Yep, put him in the ICU, baby.
Drew says, how's that ref not in the NBA already? Detroit Pistons give this ref a 10-day contract.
For the falling down fella. TJ, genuine question. Do you need my help to show the masterclass Twitter thread? I'll help you out. Grumpy, here's the thing. Grumpy's ready to do something else. He must be getting ready for halftime's almost up for Oklahoma.
Grumpy, have you seen Al recently?
Have you seen Al?
I've seen Al. And we need to eliminate Al. Al has too much power over this world today. No more Al.
Fucking Grump.
Freeze warning, Alex says, NIL and transfer portal is killing me in college football. Pick 'em.
You know what that is, Grump?
Yeah. What I think is happening, I think they're putting some type of restrictions where they don't want guys transferring every year because you're seeing guys transfer every year.
That's what they're going to do. They're going to go where they can get the money.
They're going to put a limit on how many times you could transfer.
I think it should be one time. One time. That's it. You want to transfer, it's fine. One time.
I'd be fine with that.
Frank says, I was watching the Islanders Never Say Die podcast from last night. Since I had to work late, I missed it. Over the Jets game now. LOL.
Okay, there we go. Drew says here's a difference between when I troll the podcast and when I troll other people. I tamely troll the podcast because I genuinely like you guys. I really am an asshole when I troll at 100%. Oh, goodness.
Did you give Drew the information he needed yesterday, TJ? Did you forget to do that?
I did forget to do that again.
God almighty. He's a scrub.
There it goes. Derek Monroe says Mahomes had the most passing yards of his career last year, won the Super Bowl MVP, and the Super Bowl. I believe Tyreek misses Kansas City more, especially considering we whipped him in Germany earlier this year. You want to know something Patrick Mahomes has never done? Beaten Tom Brady in a playoff game.
Okay, it has nothing to do with last year. I will say this.
Well, of course. Brady's retired now. But you know what he could never do? Beat Tom Brady when it counted the most. He let a 40-year-old man beat him not once, but twice in the playoffs. In his stadium the first time.
Here's the thing.
Neutral field.
Mahomes even last year I thought at times struggled. Despite the passing yards.
He's not that good. He's not that good.
He's a Hall of Fame quarterback, okay? He's not that good.
He's a Hall of Fame quarterback. He's played 5 years.
He's a Hall of Fame quarterback. Please.
He's going to have to play a while longer.
If Jalen Hurts hadn't fumbled that ball,
he loses that game.
Won the game.
I agree.
So it wasn't him. It wasn't him who won the game. It was the defense.
You can say that about every Super Bowl, though.
I will say last year's Super Bowl was the best playoff game performance for Pat Mahomes ever. Every other game, he sucked. He keeps
Jimmy Garoppolo throwing 2 interceptions in the fourth quarter in the Reds, or turned the ball over twice in the fourth quarter. Lost San Francisco their first.
He was not good in that game. He was terrible against Tampa, terrible against New England, not good enough. Next. Drew says,
I love how Grumpy's comments are the only ones that matter. Nobody else can comment, and he goes right to the next one.
I thought you were too busy making out with your cat.
You're too busy watching the fucking Oklahoma Sooners lose.
I hope now it's a commercial break. Commercial break.
Drew says, I'm not saying this to be tough either. I'm generally just mean.
No, what don't say
Actually, right now it's halftime and Oklahoma's up 14-13, TJ.
That's right, TJ.
I hope they lose just for your sake, Grumpy, because you couldn't stay focused on our show.
Andrew L. says the Diamondbacks have won a game more recently than the Pistons. Not a joke. They both won the same nights, and the D-backs won an hour after the Pistons.
That's
not good.
Wow.
Drew says, watch that guy who won all the money become a chronic gambler after this.
I'm sure he probably already was a chronic gambler. If you're betting parlays, like 14-leg parlays, you're already a chronic gambler.
Alex says Liverpool on top of the Premier League yet again. Arsenal losing and starting to choke it all away again. Things are normalizing. I just want to say one thing. The one good thing about Liverpool is they will not have to play Real Madrid in Champions League this year because, well, they weren't even good to get in the tournament. And we know they cannot beat Real Madrid.
Okay, so to address the comment that you made, freeze warning, it helps that Man City does have a few games in hand over Liverpool. It's a long season, and I just watched Liverpool barely pull out a 1-0 or 2-0 victory over Burnley. I'm not that impressed with Liverpool. That's all I'm going to say. Wasn't that impressed this weekend.
Yeah, I think Man City's going to end up coming back. Aston Villa is going to start playing like Aston Villa. They're just playing like dog shit. You're seeing Arsenal start to lose games now. And then I think you're going to see Liverpool start to lose a couple games towards the end. I think it's going to be a close run to the final. That's what I think. I think it's going to be close at the end.
It always is. It always is. Freedom Fun Adventure says, X, why don't you have a photo of your family on the wall? Why is fiance's family only? Are they more normal, abandoning the clan grumpy? Why won't leagues force officiating rules to call all games the same?
Go ahead, X. That's a comment for you.
Well, I'm at her family's house right now, so that's why I don't have the picture of Grumpy.
The league tells the players what to do, what tells the officiating crews what to do. Like, I don't know if you've noticed, since Mahomes and Reed were a bunch, oh, how do you call a guy offsides? You'd see how many offsides penalties on the offense they've been calling and on the defense. That's how the NFL does it. Okay, we'll just make sure we call a whole bunch of them so it shows like we've been calling them all year. That's what they do.
Alabama and Washington in the college football title game.
It could be. Alabama's playing better. Michigan's defense is outstanding. I think they're going to be two really good games. Drew said, I did send you a meme earlier, but I think it might fit better for Saturday's podcast since there'll be more viewers.
Okay, gotcha. We're down. Freeze warning says here.
Okay, go ahead, TJ.
They should change the transfer window in college football to where it makes sense. Early national signing day for high school recruits presents an issue to that, though. Here's the thing. They should limit the amount of transfers you can have. I think one tops absolute maximum 2. But it's like there has to be a set time period when you can transfer. It's just not like I can transfer whenever I want and start playing. You have to have set time periods too. So that's my opinion there on it. Andrew L., grumpy old man, he says,
if Russell Wilson doesn't throw a pick and the Seahawks run the Patriots, lose that Super Bowl is such a dumb argument to say if this or that doesn't happen.
Yes.
Here's the thing. Here's what people forget. Marshawn Lynch didn't score a whole lot of touchdowns from the 1-yard line that year. Matter of fact, he'd been stopped numerous times. That's why they ran that play. That's why they ran the pass play, because he had been stopped from the 1 almost all year long.
It's like saying, okay, well, you had great kicks by Vegetarian. That's why Tom Brady won a few Super Bowls. Things happen. There are always going to be like very memorable plays that happen in the Super Bowl that spur you to say, oh gosh, this is the turning point. This was the reason why they won that game. But that's every game in the NFL. So that's why I don't say like, oh, if he didn't fumble. Yeah, if Jalen Hurts didn't fumble, I'm not going to discredit, though, Patrick Mahomes winning that Super Bowl, because he did. They didn't make any adjustments at halftime. The Eagles didn't. They came out looking like shit. They lost because they had a miserable second half, and Hurts fumbled the ball at the end of the first half. That was the turning point of the game.
You had 7 points that was put on the board by the defense. That's all. Which had nothing to do with the offense. Nothing. That's all.
Drew L.
Something's up with Cleveland Browns field. The amount of times Breece Hall has slipped today is insane. Maybe you should wear different cleats. Drew says, honestly, I know X's wedding happened a while ago. X is not married. But I wanted to say congratulations on getting married again. It's something I want to do when I get to Japan and I have enough money.
Let's get married.
Very nice.
I don't. Oh, Drew's getting married?
Well, he says he wants to get married when he goes to Japan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have not had my wedding yet, but I am engaged.
Look at Drew. I like this comment. Grumpy, he loves his fantasy.
By the way, Grumpy, your rip-off of a trade just got vetoed again. Here's the thing. We're on the Islanders Never Say Die Hockey League. There will be no trades in this league this year. There will not, because I will veto.
Is this why you're all pissy, Grumpy?
No, there will be no trades in this league. None. Anyone who proposed one, it is vetoed.
Grumpy is big man.
Vetoed. Fucking vetoed. I'm putting everyone on notice. Vetoed. If you look at a trade calculator, every trade I put out there is fair. Every single one. You want, that's fine. They want to veto the trade. Guess what? No trades in that league. I'm just telling you flat out. Don't even send a trade request. It's fucking vetoed, and you're going to lose the best player on your team to me. That's your punishment. That's what will happen.
Look at Grumpy. Why is that? Why you've been so upset today on the show? Is that why you got pissed in your cereal?
There will be no trades in that league.
You tried to trade. Hold on.
No
we got to go
back.
Rantanen, you wanted a guy who has.
I traded 2 first-line players who played on their team's top power play, and actually put up numbers just as good considering the games that they played. That's fine. That's fine. My team is so fucking good. I'm going to steamroll all of your asses, just like I did in the baseball league and in the football league. Who's playing for second? That's all I got to say. Who's playing for second? Because I'm fucking winning.
He's so fucking busy. Yeah. That's why he's been so upset.
Yeah.
This is why he's so upset. This is why he's so upset, X.
Grumpy is big mad about fantasy, dude. Oh, my days.
Dude spent so much time being a fake GM just for others to shit all over it.
Yep.
That's why they're going to lose. When they fucking lose, let me tell you something. I can't wait. I'm keeping all the fucking receipts. I'm going to drive it up their asses with a fucking spike how bad I beat them. I can't wait. It's going to drive me insane.
He's so fucking bad. He's so fucking.
I
hope he cares more about fantasy sports than anything else.
My little brownie says, let's talk Bologna beating Inter with an amazing goal to tie it up, then winning it in overtime.
Inter struggled a little bit this year.
So I guess this was in like the Coppa Italia. Is that what it was?
Yes.
Okay. Did not know that was being played.
Inter Milan struggled a little bit this year. Now, here's the thing. Inter Milan is on the brink of bankruptcy, I heard. Or they're on the brink. They're on the brink of. I think it's like $150 million in debt, or 150 million pounds in debt right now. The only way that they could go ahead and fund their season was they had to sell off Oana, the goalkeeper they had last year. But I like, you talk about a team that goes from, hey,
Oana,
they're in the Champions League.
A lot of those Italian teams struggle financially.
Oana, the goalie there for Man City now.
Moana? Wasn't that a Disney movie?
Onana, not Onana.
Okay, Onana. Sorry.
Oana. It's a Disney movie.
I said Oana.
He came from Ajax previously, and the only reason he went to Manchester United is because Eric Ten Hag had connections with him. And he's played pretty well this year, I think, right?
Wouldn't you say? Who else says if the Islanders didn't give up 7 goals last night, they win. No, they would have tied. They probably would have lost in shootout.
Oh my God, Grumpy, read this one.
Commissioner Grumpy Old Bettman, yeah! Got everyone's name down. My little brother says, Drew, it's an all sports, in quotes, podcast, allegedly. Well, we do save all that extra stuff for you, my little brownie. I had to say that.
Well, we like talking soccer, though, but I will say this. Think about it. They went to the Champions League final last year, and they reported a loss of $85.4 million.
Those Italian teams all struggle with the financials.
Here's my thing. If they didn't have Lukaku out there on the field, they would have freaking won that game. He blocked a goal. He was the 12th defender for Manchester City in that game.
Manchester City? Oh, that's right. I know what you're talking. Yes, in Champions League last year. Yes.
I will say this here. I don't want to see them, right? Because right, think about it. I enjoy their team. I thought they were a pretty good squad. I hope things turn out well for them. I don't want to see them have to mass sell off players. I think they've had a really good stretch as of recent. So.
Yeah, I especially don't want to see them have to mass sell off players where teams like Manchester City and PSG can just spend whatever money possible on people and don't have to worry about it because, well, the financial rules don't apply to them.
Well, it's more financial fair play for them. They're just able to offload any sort of losses they have in the conglomerate there of the business expense or the business that is the Saudi oil money that they receive. So who the hell knows? I don't know. It's one that it will always lead to more and more questions. Do we have any more comments there? Oh, TJ, if my sister's watching, she would have exploded with joy just having heard Moana.
That was my first thought. I thought you said Moana. Who's the goalkeeper?
I said Oana. Grumpy, don't you have another fantasy trade to get vetoed again?
You're a freaking name butcher. I just think I don't need to make fantasy trades for my team to be good.
You said that yesterday and you made another trade. Oh, he is so fucking.
Mekhi Becton with another penalty. Yep. He didn't get fries with his Big Mac. Reason why he says, RIP to the Super League yet again. Don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out. The Super League is going to happen.
It will never happen.
It will happen. It absolutely will happen. I can't tell you when. It will happen. They've already put up like $15 billion over a 3-year period of time, which is like twice as much as Champions League. It will happen.
Once these other teams start seeing how much Barcelona, Juventus, and Real Madrid are bringing in money-wise, and they can sign pretty much whoever the hell they want after that, they're going to be like, oh, shit, you know what? Maybe we need to do that to compete with the Premier League that has a $110 billion contract with NBC.
It will happen. And they're going to show their games like on some free app. It will happen. I don't know. It won't happen next year. It will happen eventually.
Yeah.
There's just too much money.
And you're going to see a shitload of teams that originally opted out are going to be like, oh, shit, you know what? Maybe we need to go ahead and join this. We see how lucrative it is for these three super teams that are just now making hand over fist money. We want to get in on that.
I'm going to put it to you as simple as this. What's going to happen is the Saudis this winter transfer window are about to bring in some more top-tier players from other leagues. Yes, they are. Okay, yes, they are. You could just let me finish my point. Yes, they are. And what's going to happen is they're going to be continuing to poach top-tier player after top-tier player and Champions League, right? And European football is going to invite them in to play, and that is going to increase the pool of money, therefore satisfying the teams who want more money for Champions League success and top-tier success, while also going ahead and satisfying the Saudi League, who just continues to throw hundreds of millions of dollars at all these players. It's going to make everything work.
Maybe they'll play in the Super League.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. It's worth way more money.
And here's the thing. Then you can't call it UEFA Champions League because it's not just teams in Europe anymore.
It's not. Yeah. They'll have to change the name. I don't think they're too concerned about like the name being the biggest issue.
I thought they were about the heritage. Isn't that what it's about? It's about having those small teams in the heritage, not just having all the super teams in there.
They don't care about any of that shit.
No, that's the bullshit. That's the bullshit narrative that they push all the time. No, that's what they care about. They care about those small teams.
You know what I do as a supporter of a small club? Hell yeah.
Like those small teams. That's why they expanded it and then retracted their expansion because they realized how much bullshit it was. It's a freaking joke. It's a joke. The Super League will happen, though. It absolutely will.
Derek Monroe says Super Bowls won without a top 10 defense in the league. Tom Brady 1, Mahomes 2. Enough said. No, actually, times that Tom Brady has beaten Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs 2. How many times Patrick Mahomes has won? Fucking 0. And guess what? He's never going to beat him. Enough said. Mic drop. That's it. Never freaking ever. Imagine if he would have played Brady when he was in his 20s or 30s. I mean, Brady probably would have beat him 15, 16, 17 times in a row. But he played him what? Mahomes in his prime. Brady's in his mid-40s. Couldn't get the job done. Couldn't get the job done. 0 wins for Patrick Mahomes. 0 Super Bowls when he played greatest quarterback ever, Tom Brady. 0 times that he beat Tom Brady in the AFC Championship game. 0. That number is never going to be a crooked number. It's always a 0. No way. Tom Brady, number 1. Patrick Mahomes, fucking cares where he is. He'll never be Tom Brady. That's all that matters.
Is Grumpy getting all animated when he leans forward? It's almost like it kicks him. It almost kicks him to different audio.
Here, we got some more comments for you.
Oh, here's Derek Monroe, another falsified comment. Had the fourth best defense when he lost to Eli in 7 and 8. Had the fifth best defense when he lost to Nick Foles and the Eagles. Their defense gave up the scores at the end. That's why they lost. And you're going to say that Eagles won? Bill Belichick didn't start Malcolm Butler, his best defensive player all year long, over a spat with his son. So, and hey, Brady threw for 505 yards. How many games did it take Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl for 505 yards? Has he even gotten there yet? I don't know. One game for Brady.
Grumpy is like spitting shit out so quick. It's like
Eric Monroe says, I love how Brady retired as soon as Mahomes would have a better defense than him. He could never beat him. He never beat him. Never. Maybe if Brady played when he was 70-5 and Mahomes was 26, he still would have lost. I'm going to take it back. He never would have beat him then either. You couldn't beat a guy who's ready for Social Security, Mahomes. Sorry. Why don't you hang out with that trailer park trash wife of yours? And that serial groper, your brother. I know you're not going to hang out with. You're not going to hang out with in the Hall of Fame. Oh. They're going to have Brady's bust up here. Patrick Mahomes just use his as a doorstop.
Grumpy.
Sorry, you just pulled it up for the greatest wing of all time, Tom Brady wing.
Grumpy, you're upsetting the dogs at X's spot, at X's house over there. Grumpy, you got to calm down. You're making the dogs upset.
My little Brady. Bring binoculars to the Islanders Rangers outdoor game or don't bother going. Don't bother going.
It's just too expensive for something where it's like, great, you could barely see a damn thing. It's just like an event to say you went to. I would not go either. No. Browns just clinched a playoff spot. And Derek Monroe said he never beat Brady's defense unless Brady did play defense.
You want to know what?
No.
Brady's offense was better. He was throwing to Edelman. Now Gronk was great, but certainly on the downside. They beat him when you had Tyreek and Kelsey at the height of their powers. Couldn't get the job done. Tom Brady converts 3 3rd and 10s in overtime. You want to know who couldn't do that? Patrick Mahomes, that's who. Anytime a clutch moment, Tom Brady. Patrick Mahomes, he's throwing pick sixes to some Oakland Raider last week. He fumbles. Because he doesn't know how to take a handoff. You know what? He blows.
Looking back on that Super Bowl,
Ryan Leaf is better than Patrick Mahomes.
Looking back on that Super Bowl, that will probably be a Super Bowl that gets talked about for ages. Even though it was a blowout, you think about it, right? Hall of Famers. Travis Kelce's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Tyreek Hill's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Patrick Mahomes is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Tom Brady is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Mike Evans is a first ballot Hall of Famer. There's a lot of first ballot Hall of Famers.
Who won the MVP of that game? Who won the MVP? Oh, that's right, Tom Brady. You want to know something? He's won more fucking MVPs than you'll ever have Super Bowl titles. He's won more Super Bowl titles than any franchise in the history of the sport. Think about that. Let that soak in a little bit for you.
Well,
Patrick Mahomes. What a joke that little Kermit the Frog sounded like. Oh, Miss Piggy. I can't beat Tom Brady. He knows it. He knows it. He knows it. He's even said, no, you're better than me. I'm just your bitch. That's what I am.
Wow, Grumpy.
And for proof, let's just roll a videotape of any playoff game.
Oh, Grumpy.
Couldn't get it done. In the big moment, could not get it done. Couldn't get it done.
God. There you go. Drew L. Grumpy.
I generally just think that these new young quarterbacks suck because the coaches don't sit with them for a year or two before they develop into starters. It's why Green Bay has had success with quarterbacks. Here's the thing. The reason with the way the salary cap is structured, you have to play those guys immediately. You cannot let their contracts, their rookie level contracts expire because then you got to pay them big money. That's why you're seeing them rushed into the league. And here's the thing. They're not trained the same way. Quarterbacks in college now are more athlete than quarterback. So you have to kind of mold them into an NFL system. Everything's not like wide open, spread offense all the time. Just not the way it is in the NFL. The defenders are too good. Freedom Fund Ventures, Grumpy, do you believe in reincarnations? What would you do for your next life? Tom Brady or Mike Piazza? Would you be your sons? I don't buy. I think the whole thing of the reincarnation is you have no idea what you are.
He's asking, what would you do, Grumpy, if you had a choice?
Well, since those guys will all be freaking dead, I don't know who would be. I mean, I don't know. All right, I don't believe in reincarnation, so fuck it. Sorry. I don't want to answer that. I didn't like the question. No.
Grumpy is all ever since that trade. What needs to happen, Grumpy? You need to make a trade before every show, and we need people to deny the trade every single time while we're on air, just so we can get your reactions like this. It's almost like it woke him up from a slumber. It pissed him off so much that's like, and he's going ahead and giving a real effort on the podcast. I like that, Grump.
Actually, I would like to say that my Cleveland Browns defense looks like they put up 14 points today. And in my money league, which I prepare to win again.
No more fucking fantasy talk. Damn it. None of this garbage.
Rolling right along. Just keep chugging along.
Ugh, anyway, okay. We done today. X and Grumpy. Is there anything else you guys wanted to talk about? Oh, there's something else I want to talk about.
Oh,
did you know? Just go ahead and hang in tight there for a second. Kevin Durant is frustrated with the current roster's performance with the Phoenix Suns, and he is wanting to be traded. And the Phoenix Suns hear his complaints. They can sure feel his complaints. Kevin Durant is looking to be on the move. Yikes. The Phoenix experiment did not work well for Durant. He's playing well this year, too.
It's basketball. I don't care about it.
Regular season basketball at that.
Isn't it so weird to see him in a Phoenix Suns jersey?
No, he's played for just about every franchise there is.
I mean, how many teams he played
Golden
for?
State, Oklahoma City, Phoenix Suns. Like, damn. Just pick a team, dude.
He's been with Golden State for a while, though. Okay? This is the first year I believe he's played for the Suns.
Okay, he was in Brooklyn for what, like 2 or 3 years, and then left?
Think about it. Durant is averaging 30.2 points, 6.4 rebounds, and 5.9 assists a game right now. He's his age, he's playing still so well. He's 35 years old. And I don't know. For me, it's like, man, it's tough to believe that they've struggled as much as they have the Phoenix Suns.
I mean, it's him and Devin Booker on that team.
They're 10th in the conference. Think about it. They're 10th in the Western Conference.
Okay, who else do they have?
I'm trying to think here. Eric Gordon's out there, too, for him.
Okay.
He's pretty decent.
He rode the coattails of Jokic and freaking what's-his-face?
And Doncic? Or no, Jokic and who else is it for
I can't
the
remember
Nuggets?
his name right now. I know what his face looks like. I can't remember his name. The point guard. God.
This is supposed to be your area of expertise. You bring us
I just can't. His name is slipping. Hold on, let me look it up.
Jamal Murray.
Jamal Murray, that's it. Yes, he rode the coattails of both of them. They were the whole team.
You know what's crazy, by the way? I didn't know Bismack Biyombo still plays in the NBA.
Wow.
He's another guy where I'm like, God almighty, he's still in the NBA, still kicking around there for the Grizzlies. But yeah, Phoenix Suns are completely average, 15-15 at this point of the time of the season. Obviously, Durant was not expecting that when he made the move. And he's a little upset, so he's looking to get things mixed up a little bit there. But yeah, that was the only other additional item I wanted to bring up there. Something that I think you'll find interesting, at least regarding top fall playoffs.
Next, put on
The
ESPN.
Athletic.
What?
Put on ESPN.
Oh, you talking about for the Oklahoma game?
He's down.
He's absolutely down.
Absolutely down. I don't know how they missed it on the field. I don't know how they missed it on the field. He's absolutely down.
Because you have the senior citizen crew out there again, officiating freaking games.
Okay, they said he was down. Oklahoma's up.
They just wheel him out from the retirement home, throw him out there. Hey, wear these pretty little uniforms and go out there and officiate. You can't see at all.
Well, I guess it's back from halftime. We got about 15 good minutes from Grumpy, and he went back to the game. I thought this was interesting.
I thought you said we were done.
I did want to bring this up. I thought you were interested in this. Maybe you'll have some
a half-hour mark.
The teams who have the athletic budgets, the largest athletic budgets, the second, third, and fourth largest athletic budgets in the country have, 3 of the top 4 teams in the college football playoff semifinals. It doesn't always happen that way, but I thought it was interesting though. The teams who have the largest athletic budgets have the teams with the best football organizations. Who'd figure? Who would figure that, Grump? Anyway. Thought that was interesting there. Washington is a team that is, much lower there on the list, but they made it into the college football playoffs, so good for them. Anyway, I guess we'll wrap things up here, Grump.
Okay.
Is there anything you want to say before we wrap up today?
I just want to say love and laughter to everyone who listens and even those who don't. From TJ, the grumpy old man, and Son X.
And X, what do you want to say before we wrap things up here today?
Just want to thank everybody for coming out and listening, commenting. Hope you all enjoyed the podcast, and we will see you guys next time.
Really quick, a few comments here. Drew says here, everybody's favorite crybaby bitch, DK, Kevin Durant, I'm sorry. It's too bad. I was thinking, I flipped him up. Donkey Kong.
Drift from Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. That's what DK stands for.
But too bad. He should have he should have joined the Knicks. Then none of this would have happened to him. Always the Knicks. Always the Knicks. He says here, Freedom Fun Adventure says, damn, did you just accuse Grumpy of being an Anders Lee or a Bailey type performance? Just phoning it in, the rest on his laurels. Yep, that is exactly what he did there. Yep, I'd agree. I want to say thank you so much, everybody, for watching the show. Thank you, Son X, for showing up. Thank you, Grumpy, for a solid 25-minute performance today. I did like that little stretch.
Thanks, TJ, for showing up half an hour late as usual.
TJ, you know what? You win podcast MVP for most. You guys can't talk at the same time, and most.
I just wish Grumpy would just watch us instead of watching games.
I don't want to look at you. You're ugly as shit.
And TJ, is this not a sports podcast? Are there sports going on?
It is, but guess what? You can watch those
sports that are currently going on.
It's not a live stream of the Oklahoma Sooners game.
Don't worry. Do you not yell? Even when we're doing Islander live streams, you don't even like to talk about the game. You want to talk about other shit.
You cannot multitask. You're too old.
It's not a live stream of the big ball in Las Vegas either, but we still have to stare at your head.
Oh, wow, X. That's a good one.
I didn't know there was a big ball in Las Vegas. I thought there was the one in New York City that's dropped there on New Year's.
It's Las Vegas, the dome thing or whatever. You know what I'm talking about. The freaking.
I did.
Oh, my God.
Anyway, we'll wrap things up. Thank you so much, X, for a solid performance. Thank you for showing up. Thank you, Grumpy, for a solid spurt.
Thank you.
And a good solid spurt.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for being a part of the show as always. We'll be live with you guys this Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on New Year's Eve, getting ready for the big college football playoffs. I'm sure it's going to be the topic of discussion that day.
Maybe we will do a podcast throughout the night for the ball dropping.
No, my God, we can't do you want to do a damn 4-hour long podcast?
Live stream of the freaking football game is what it would be, because it's going to go on probably till 12 o'clock.
The games are on New Year's Day, X, so they're on Monday.
Oh, I thought they were on Sunday.
No, they'll be on Monday.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, so we won't have a live stream for 4 hours.
I was going to say, I was going to say we could just start it later and watch the games, but yeah. No, never mind. Games aren't going on. No chance. Nope.
Yes, be with your loved ones as the ball drops. But we'll have a show on Sunday for New Year's Eve. Thank you so much, guys, for watching the show. Be live with you this Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks, Grumpy. Thanks, Son X. We'll see you guys on Sunday.
Thank you.